Welcome back to another edition of Cover One, the Film Room. I'm your host, Erik Turner. Today I'm joined by Quartney Davis, formerly of the Texas A&M Aggies. Quartney, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I want to get right into this draft process, man, because it's odd this year. You know, there's a lot of things being restricted. There's a lot of things just kind of willy-nilly being thrown at you guys each and every day. So talk about the process of doing these type of conferences for your actual, meetings with teams.
It's a different process. It'll be awesome to be able to go and meet these guys face to face and view the facilities and all of that stuff. Be able to do the little private workouts, but we got to be able to adapt to some stuff sometimes.
That's exactly right. You got to be able to adapt to different situations, different environments, and I know throughout your college career you've had your ups and downs, I'm sure, and this is just another one of those hurdles that you're going to overcome. And talk about the anxiety leading up to this. I mean, you got to be ready after all of this process. You got to be ready to get drafted and start working, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. That's kind of something that I always talk about with my training, how much I'm ready to just get to the season and get to work, kind of figure out what team I'm gonna be on and learn the playbook. Because like right now it's like I'm just training just to train because I don't have a playbook to study or know exactly who I'm gonna be playing for, none of that. So
now talk about where you've been training, who you've been training with. I know you're with the Fort Worth King, Rashad. You're probably going to work out with him right afterwards. Talk about how long you've known Rashad and what type of things you've been working on and maybe your craft and whatnot. And talk about that leading up to the draft.
Man, I've been on Rashad for a pretty long time. So yeah, I'm working out with Rashad Ford King, and then I also work out with a guy named Danny Arnold. He got a place. The facility is called Plex in like Missouri City. Okay. But so I've been working with Rashad since about my 10th grade year, going into my junior year. So it's been a pretty long time. I learned a lot from him, and then definitely developed my game by being able to train with him.
Now, where did you grow up exactly?
I'm from Houston.
Houston? Okay, so, you're not too far from Rashad altogether, right?
Yeah, I'm not too far at all. Probably about, from my high school, I'll say he's probably about, 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. Now, what brought you to Texas A&M? Maybe talk about the staff that was there initially when you were brought in, and then the staff that you're playing under now, maybe your head coach then and your receivers coach.
Yeah, so when I first got to A&M, I was getting recruited by Coach Sumlin, Aaron Moorhead, and Jeff Banks. Coach Sumlin, he's at Arizona now. Moorhead is with the Philadelphia Eagles, and then Coach Banks is the special teams coordinator over there at Alabama. But yes, so those guys recruited me, but it was more like, I just wanted to be close to my family in college. I know about the Aggie Network that they had going on there, and it was a great opportunity for me to come in and play. So it was just all of those things kind of factored into it.
So you played now, the last couple of years you played under Jimbo Fisher. We're going to talk about his offense briefly. Who was your receiver coach under, Coach Fisher? And then maybe the differences between the two systems that Sumlin ran and that Fisher ran.
Yes. My receiver coach with Coach Fisher was Damian Craig. He was a quarterback at Auburn some years back. But he was a really smart guy. He taught us the offense pretty good, so we were a pretty smart group of receivers.
So we're going to jump in now, Quartney. We're going to take a look at what Coach Fisher and Coach Craig asked of you in the offense over at Texas A&M. All right, Quartney, so let's take a dive into Coach Fisher's offense. Maybe your role, from 2018 to 2019, because it looks like you were in the slot a lot more in 2019. According to Sports Info Solutions, they had you in the slot 74% of the time. In 2018, it was 41%. Any ideas on why that was from 2018 to 2019?
It was just, being able to get all of our players on the field. We had Kendrick Rogers, Jamon Osborne, me, Cameron Buckley. We had some younger guys as well. So it was just a way that we can get all our guys on the field, keep us fresh.
Some offenses, like West Coast offenses off the top of my head, they run routes according to steps. The steps are in, they match the footwork of the quarterback. Some are depth. They'll get to 10 to 12 yards. I don't care how you get there. Get to 10 to 12 yards. Yeah. I don't care what step it's on. Talk about Coach Fisher's offense. What was asked of you? Was it more of a steps type route running tree, or was it more on depth?
So yeah, we had a ton of steps. I'll probably say more of our routes were steps than like yardage or whatever. But we had a mixture of both though, depending on the route.
At the NFL level, you're going to have to come up to the line of scrimmage and you're going to have to read, okay, is this single high versus two high? And then based on that, you're going to change the route stem just a little bit. But there's another dimension to Jimbo Fisher's offense, right, Quartney? It's not just about reading that safety pre to post snap, but also adjusting leverage and attacking leverage. Can you talk about that a little bit here?
Yeah. So like right here, how you got the slant. Basically, like say for instance, if we had a defender that was inside of us and I was the inside receiver at Y. If he was inside, we depending on like we'll have two type of slants. It was deep or if it was just a regular slant. They wouldn't tag it with deep. But if they didn't tag it with deep, we would have to run the one step slant if he was inside of us. But say for instance, if he was inside of us and he was about 4 or 5 yards off, then we would still take it 3 steps and try to get flat and get up under him.
And that's what I want to talk about because, yes, okay, maybe it's a 3-step slant, but if you look here, X, Y, and Z, the receivers, and you're the Y, for example, in this play, the angle depends on the defensive leverage. That's what you're talking about. So sometimes maybe that breakout after that 3rd step comes off on a 45-degree angle. Sometimes it may even just look like a 3-step in route, right? So it can change based on the leverage of that defender.
Yeah.
All right, Quartney, let's go ahead and jump into the film here because this is my favorite portion of these film breakdowns. So you're at the top of the screen and you're reading the coverage or the leverage, all right? I want you to talk about your route, your read, maybe any alternatives, and just specifically your technique on this route. So from the top, man, what route are you running here? Maybe what's the play call and what technique are you running with?
So this play right here, let me see. Can you press play on it?
Yep.
Fast? Just want to see it run through. All right, yeah. So this play right here, we got this rail X stick. Okay. And so I'm the Z at the top of this formation, and then the X is down here at the bottom. And so the X is getting tagged here, so it's rail X stick, and so that means the Z up top has the automatic 4-6 corner route is what we called it.
Okay, so break that down. So off on the snap, talk about your steps and footwork.
So at the snap first, I'm seeing what the coverage is. So I realized it was man, and so now I'm thinking about getting my 4 steps inside, then 6 steps upfield, and then at the top of this route, I have to kind of feel the cornerback and see if I want to take over the top or under him. In this case right here, he was over the top of me, so I took it under.
Okay, so you said 4, then 6 vertical, and then once you hit the top, you have to read the leverage of this cornerback, right? And he's kind of over the top.
Kind of get a feel of where he is. So if he was, say for instance, if I was over the top of him, I'll take it high to the corner. And then since he's over me, yeah, exactly, that angle there. And then since he's over me right here, I'm coming under him.
Okay, and now are you the primary read on this play or are you secondary read?
Secondary read. So he's reading over here to the boundary first. To the stick is the first one, so it's a 7-step stick, and then he's going to the running back on the rail. Then he's coming back over to me.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, so the rail's that little wheel up the sideline there to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you get to the top of this route and you realize he's playing over the top, and then you break to the sideline here, and a nice catch with your hands. You look it in perfectly, and next thing you know, you're up the sideline. You have a good run after the catch here and on to the next play. So now let's take a look at this. This is another play where you're attacking leverage. It's a spacing concept. Maybe talk to me more specifically what the personnel of this play was, maybe the formation, the play, if you remember it, and then again, your technique. I'll let it run. It's just a spacing concept. You're at the top of the screen. It's a 2x2 set. You guys are obviously condensed. And what you're trying to do here with these 2 receivers at the top here, you have basically 3 going onto a route, and you're the top receiver right here. Talk about your technique on this route.
Okay, yeah. So right here, this is what we call right dose. It's a 2 tight end set. So we're in silver. It's our personnel.
Yep.
That's
so 12 personnel, right?
Yep. 2 tight ends right there. And on this route, I have a curl. and so I understand that the cornerback has me on this play. He's playing outside leverage because my split is tighter. So I'm basically going to attack his leverage, try to get him to open up some more room for me in there because we're tight. Now stand him at the top and then curl it inside.
I love this, and it's something that if you're just watching it briefly or watching it in the broadcast, you're missing a lot because your route tells a story. So they have off coverage here. He's off, 7-9 yards or whatever, but you stem him outside. So you're stemming and attacking his outside shoulder initially, right? And then once you get to the right around the hash, you start to attack his inside shoulder. Right here, you're attacking his inside shoulder, but then breaking it back outside. So you're assaulting his leverage. I mean, you're inside, you're outside, then you're inside, then you're back outside towards the top of that stem. And then next thing you know, I mean, see, a lot of offenses, they'll just run these speed outs from these condensed formations, right? So maybe he's thinking, this is a speed out.
Speed outs. Yeah, we have some of those speed out routes.
So this is all showing, it's telling, you're selling this corner on a speed out, and he buys it. He opens his hips here, and then that's when you curl it up, and then you work back to the quarterback. That's my favorite part of this is you're QB friendly. You work back, and yes, this is the easing spacing concept. Everybody runs this. High school runs this, but the nuance in your routes and how you assault this guy's leverage is the difference in your game versus a lot of receivers coming out of the college level.
Yeah.
And I mean, talk about, what playing under, Jimbo Fisher, how that has really helped your game from maybe not just a route running level, but as a wide receiver and preparing you for the NFL.
Yeah, I just kind of, got a feel and understanding of flipping the cornerback hips, attacking leverages, understanding what they're trying to take away. And once I got all that, I put it all together, and just kind of one day just went outside running different routes, kind of visualizing DBs, leverages, and all of those things. So I just kind of was able to add a little spice to the routes, understanding those things.
Yeah, and you guys obviously ran a lot of option routes, especially you in the slot, right?
Yeah, we ran a ton. We had a lot of routes where you kind of had to read the coverage, and based off of what it was, your route kind of changed.
Yeah, totally. And we'll get into a couple more of those. And one of those plays that we're talking about, you're in the slot. It's against Auburn. It is 1st and 10, and I want to show this play for several reasons. You're in the slot right here to the bottom. I want you to talk about, running routes over the middle because it's something that I know personally that you love to do. It's something we've talked about off air. It's a certain type of mentality that you possess that not a lot of receivers, obviously have. So talk again about the personnel formation, maybe this play concept, and your technique.
Yeah, so right here, this play is dip. So basically, the outside guy, he has a 16-yard curl. I have a 10 to 12-yard basic route, and then the X receiver to the boundary has a 16-yard comeback route. But right here, I understand that the outside guy probably going to take an inside release because we have mandatory inside release on our curl routes. And so right here, I'm stemming inside so I can leave him that space right here. And then as I'm running the route, I kind of realized that the inside, that the nickel back was kind of giving me some space. He was bagging up. So I just kind of went to got to the top of my route, sat it down, gave him a head fake at the top, and took it inside.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because kind of prior to the play, it looks like they're almost playing some type of bracket coverage because he kind of he opens up right to the field, in that direction that you're heading. And it almost looks like they're playing some type of bracket coverage. And you can see the linebacker that's dropping into the middle there, that rat player, he's eyeing you the entire time. And as you break, now, is there certain footwork on this one or is this, get to a certain depth and then break off in that basic route?
Well, yeah, so on these routes, we couldn't speed cut it. They wanted us to break it down. So at the top of this route, I just, had to have good footwork, kind of make sure I'm able to get some separation from this nickelback.
And you you get separation there on a nice break. And then I mentioned, how that linebacker's reading you the entire way. And I just love how you pluck the ball out of air here. And your hands are late too, and in a good way. And your hands are so quick. It's something I see time and time again on your film, especially along the boundary, where you're the guy's in your hip pocket, and somehow you just show your hands lay outside and wide, and you can see it here, guys. When he catches it, look where his hands are. His hands are already behind him, past his body, past the linebacker, past the nickel. I mean, and again, this is in traffic. There's two guys, one over the top and one under him, and he's making this catch. I mean, what is with your mentality? Is this something that's always been a part of your game?
No, like honestly, honestly something that was kind of new because I never really ran that many inside routes until I got with Jimbo offense. When I was in high school, I played mainly outside receivers, so I was running like the deep verticals and posts. And then when I got with Sumlin offense, I was more like a outside guy running like I can't remember exactly what the route was named, but it was basically like the comeback where you kind of at the top like turned outside and curl route. So it was kind of new being the inside guy running all the inside routes.
So I'm sure teams are, asking you about that a lot in these interviews and Skype and Zoom meetings and all that. So obviously you feel you can play outside of the NFL level, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I mean, your film, your 2018 film obviously has a lot more of that. But what I like about this play too, back to this specific play is watch the quarterback, guys. Watch him step up, and he's not really stepping into this throw. He's kind of jump throwing this, almost a la Tim Tebow. And the ball is not even a tight spiral. It's all over the place. And that just, a testament to Quartney's hands and his hand-eye coordination there in traffic. It's something that, again, if you're just watching this in full speed, you're not really seeing the details of this. But this is why you come to Cover One. We're going to break this down with Quartney. So talk about playing with a mobile quarterback, Quartney, because this is something that, especially if you come to Buffalo, playing with a guy like Josh Allen. You've played with Elam, who obviously is a mobile quarterback, kind of holds the ball a good amount, scrambles around. A lot of those plays are out of structure. What's it like playing with a quarterback like that?
Yeah, so I mean, playing with Kellen, it was a great way of being able to understand like how to be able to play with mobile quarterbacks. He sat in the pocket, sometimes made the throws. But I like playing with the mobile quarterbacks because it gave us time to get into our routes, and someone open, he was able to get out of the pocket, and then we were able to find space and make the catches. So it was exciting.
Yeah, that's what's great. It's not just one dimensional where, okay, you're back there, the quarterback's back there for 3 seconds and no one's really open. He's just going to throw it away. No, you have a guy that, okay, after 3 seconds or so, if no one's open, well, guess what? Let's go into scramble drill, get into your scramble drill rules, and then now you're separating. So if you don't, you may win initially. You may be the third option on a route, and you may win initially, but you're that third option, so he doesn't see you till it's too late. Well, guess what? Get into the scramble drill and go ahead and make plays like this. And that's again, a skill that if you don't play with a quarterback like that, you may not have it and may have to learn that. And that's just another thing that's, check the box for Quartney Davis because he's done it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and another thing with these like inside routes, Kellen did a great job of making sure like I didn't take any like big hits. So he was able to put the ball in like right on my body where I didn't have to, reach out or jump up and take the crazy big hits. So he did a great job with that throughout our career.
That's awesome to hear, man, because, if your best ability is availability, so if your quarterback's not leaving you out to dry often, that's going to keep you in the lineup week in and week out. So let's take a look at a similar route here versus Clemson. You're in the slot to the bottom. This time, the defender starts off in outside leverage, kind of like Davis did in the last clip, but as this play rolls, you're going to see him jump inside. So now what are you thinking as far as your route?
Yeah, they did a lot of that, disguising their leverages and stuff. But right here, at the beginning of it, I kind of checked to see where he was at. I saw he was outside leverage, so I was going to give him outside stem. And then as I started to run my route, I'm like, oh man, he jumped back inside. I was like, I got to get inside. So when I got to the top of his route, as soon as I got to the top, I thought 4 steps at the top. Kind of my first one was going to be like a left stick to kind of make them think I'm running like a seam route, like to run past him.
Yep.
And so I stuck it, and then 1, 2, 3, gave him like a good head shake at the top and got inside of him.
Yeah, I mean, you froze him. Let's be honest here. You froze him.
Yeah.
And I love your route running as far as like you change the pace. You don't your stride's not always the same. And then when you get to the top of your routes, and you saw it kind of on the last play, guys, you see those hips start to break down. You see him drop those hips, use those eyes. I mean, you're staring right at him. You're freezing him with your eyes, and then you're breaking immediately to the middle of the field, and you're wide open. I mean, this is why Quartney Davis is valued at the next level. His route running, the nuance to his route running is ridiculous, and he creates separation. And if you put him in any offense that runs the type of option routes that he ran at A&M, or those leverage reading routes like this, I mean, he's going to shine. And this is why, he can be a quarterback's best friend. And you can hear him. He's breaking it down for you that he understands what he's seeing here. And this is why we love doing these film rooms with players. Yeah. And I mean, those are two very similar routes, and they even tried confusing you. Like you said, you have to be able to adjust on the fly. You have to process pre to post snap. And that right there is the epitome of, processing pre to pro snap when they tried to confuse you. Just a heck of a route by you against Clemson. So now you probably remember this one. This one's a 3x1 set, you versus LSU. They motioned the third receiver in between you. So now you're the outside receiver. You're running basically what amounts to almost like a Dino post.
Like a corner post, yeah.
Yeah, so break this play down, man, because this play was this was a big play, a nice big catch in traffic. I'll let it play here in a second. But, talk about the personnel, maybe the formation. If you remember this play, let me know.
Then the Z receiver, he's motioning in. And we called it our zing motion. So what you've seen on the name of play call,
yep,
is a zing motion. And so he basically what he doing, so he's going to run the over route, or kind of like a read over route. So he's basically
this one right here, zing right here, and then he's running the over route. So now it says in this graphic that he's reading if it's single high,
or
too deep, right?
Yeah. So basically, how he's going to run it, if it's too high, he's going to run 2 yards inside of the safety to his side, to the play side. And if it's single high, he's going to run like an over across the safety's face, basically to grab their safety.
Okay. And then so you're at Y here. Go ahead and talk about your route, your footwork.
All right, so this route here is a 6'3". So 6'3", 6 from the first initial up the field, 3 steps to the corner, and then post it. This route here, we ran so many times, I really never counted my steps. I was kind of had this route down.
Second nature.
We have different route combinations off of that. We have like Pam chain stick, which is what this is. We have Pam chain sit. That would be like the instead of 6'3", it'd be 8'3", and then we'll curl it back in. So kind of how I was running the curl routes from the condensed.
Yeah. Now that's usually versus what, cover 2?
Yeah. And then
curl it up.
What else we have? We have the sting route. So basically it's like this, but instead of posting it, we'll go straight up field. So run the corner and then straight up field.
Okay, so now talk about, because this almost breaks down to something that the Bills run like a double post for Josh Allen. I know this is an over route right here, but I mean it's along the same lines here.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to a post. I mean, kind of getting to the same landmark.
So did you know what coverage they were in here? Because I mean they're obviously in far off coverage here.
Nah, I really. At this point right here, I really was like, man, I got to get to the end zone. I'm like, he playing like freaking 11 yards, 12 yards off of me. So I'm like, man, I just got to eat up as much space as I can, and get to the end zone. So I was running like crazy fast right here, trying to get there.
But your footwork's still good here, man.
It's still on point, yeah. So that's how you can kind of tell, like, it's just second nature. But yeah, I was like, man, killing, like, I'm gonna run the route, whether I'm open or not, just throw the ball up, And he did that, so.
So as far as Kellen's, read here, who's his primary option? Obviously, so he's probably diagnosing that this is single high, right? With this safety right here.
Yeah, in this play, the over is actually the first read, and I'm the second read right here.
Right, so the over right here.
He actually could have hit the over.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, he he was trying to get it to you. I mean, it was pretty obvious. And the way I looked at this play is, as I let it roll, you see, not only does he pull the over route pull that defender, he also has a safety.
And that's his job to pull that guy. And he held that safety just enough for Kellen to be able to get that ball in.
Right. And so, maybe Kellen didn't make the right decision, but what I love about your game is you make the quarterback right by bringing this pass in traffic. And we're going to take a look at it from the tight camera angle because it is an incredible catch in traffic, something you're known for. Again, look at this tight window here. I mean, this is amazing. You made your quarterback right here.
I was ready to take a big hit right there. He went for the ball. I didn't expect him to go for the ball. I thought he was going to hit me because I felt the cornerback on my back. So I thought I was about to take a big hit right here.
and instead, the safety went for the ball. So, man, you got a guy over the top. You got a guy underneath. The throw is, nice and high so that you can high point it. And honestly, for maybe the decision wasn't right by Kellen there, but you made the quarterback right. And this is what you're going to bring to the next level, man. We talked about it from the top here. Obviously you have the physical abilities, but your route running, your nuanced route running, your ability to catch in traffic, ability to catch it away from your frame, use those late hands, and of course this catch in traffic. Even though maybe you, like you said, a big hit may have come, but you're still willing to put your body on the line against a top opponent. Yeah,
because I always heard since I was young, you're going to get hit anyway, so you might as well catch the ball.
Yeah, you might as well catch the ball against LSU and get everybody out of their seats, right?
Exactly.
All right, so
most definitely, just being a reliable receiver. Like ever since high school, I didn't win multiple games where I didn't make a game-winning catch, or if the game was on the line, or we needed a third down or a fourth down. I was always the guy they threw the ball to. Even in college, third down, I had a crazy amount of like third down completions. Just end of the game completions in 2 minutes. Making catches in those type of situations.
Yeah, that's the type of mental toughness you want your receiver to have, because you know what? There may be times in a game where you don't get a target until, halfway through the fourth quarter. But then all of a sudden they're like, now it's clicking. Let's get Quartney the ball. You got to be ready. And, this is another play versus Clemson that, you were ready, man. It's a play where you're kind of reading the leverage of the defenders here. So talk about maybe the personnel, the formation, the concept, and again, your technique on this play.
Yeah, so this play right here is Seattle. Right here, they may have because you have a comeback right here. They may have tagged the comeback. So it looked like they did tag the comeback right. But basically, this is like what you would call like kind of similar to four verticals on Madden.
All verts.
Like that.
Yep.
All verticals. Yeah. So the outside guy he has a vertical route, and then me, I have like a 7-step bang route, but I can keep it vertical up the seam depending on the coverage. Then number 3, or the tight end, he can be detached from the line or he can be attached. But he's running like basically a clearing route.
Yep.
Right here, kind of like what you had in the last play in the over.
Yeah, kind of like a deep over route.
Mm-hmm. To kind of grab that guy right there.
So now you said 7 steps. Now you get your 7th step, and I mean, so what's making the difference here on whether you take it vertically up the seam or you're bending it to the middle a little bit?
So say for instance, if it was single high, and if this was single high and this guy right here that's kind of over he's like inside of me, he kind of not playing me because they're in zone right now. But say for instance, if it was single high and he was playing on me, him right there, and he was at about like 6 or 7 yards, and I would just keep it vertical and run by him.
Okay. Yeah, so you'd run down the seam, that cover 3 type, seam route. That's money nowadays, right? Okay, so you get your your depth here, and I like how, again, I talk about your pace and how you change up the tempo of your routes, and you kind of throttle down here for your quarterback. I mean, you become QB friendly, right?
Mm-hmm. Sir.
And then again, you see the throw; it's behind him, and this is just a ridiculous catch because you're running across the field. You just turned your head. The ball's out, and you have to make a catch back across your body. I mean, that's incredible body control here, guys. I mean, this is not easy stuff. And honestly,
it's pretty crazy catch.
Yeah, and you know, if Kellen throws it out this way, maybe it's intercepted. You know, so I don't want to say, I don't want to totally say, you know, this is an inaccurate pass. Maybe it saved him, as he had mentioned, from a big hit or an interception here.
Kellen was, I mean, he did a tremendous job. Like, I don't think, I can't remember a play where Kellen threw us into danger. So he did a great job of that.
I mean, look at this from the end zone angle, guys. This is nuts. I mean, again, he's running from left to right on your screen and reaching out, catching it with his hands. And the best part is, like, I don't know if I can slow it down fast enough to really show, you know, this catch, but you not only pluck it away from your frame like this, but the way you're able to snag it into your body really quickly so that you can land and secure the ball. And of course, if you know you are going to hit here from behind, you're shielding the ball. I mean, look how quickly he tucks that ball away as he's hitting the ground. He is not going to let the defender or the ground cause an incompletion here. I mean, this is the type of friendliness you want for your quarterback on Sundays, man. This is an incredible play, and I don't think this gets talked about enough, honestly, Quartney.
Yeah, that's why, you know, as like when I talk to people, I just kind of let them know, like, whatever team, you know, I end up on, like, they're gonna get a great person, you know, a guy that's gonna bring a lot of energy and extremely reliable. So I'm just, you know, excited to see where I'm end up.
Yeah, you know, and these are just a few traits that obviously Quartney is going to bring to his team when he's drafted next week. So what other things, you know, would stand out for you? Like, if you're, you know, someone just getting into your film late now in this process, what are some things on top of what we talked about that really you want them to take a look at and separates you from other receivers in this class?
You know, just the like, just a lot of the things that you pointed out, the nuance of the routes. You know, just being able to look at the different disguises that defenses are giving me and still be able to adjust my route, mid route, and being able to you know, go make those crazy catches over the middle in traffic, being able to block. You know, being able to on film just show the energy, you know, of getting those guys around me to kind of bring it as well. You know, just all those things as a receiver.
No, I appreciate it. Now, finally, man, obviously this has been a long process. I appreciate you coming on the show, but I'm sure there are some people that maybe you want to thank for being there, being your support system throughout this process and throughout your entire college career. So now's the time, man. The floor is yours. Go ahead and give thanks to anyone that you want to make a shout out to.
Yeah, first I want to give a shout out to my moms for giving me birth. You know, that's first and foremost. But also, you know, I want to thank the people that's been around in the football world, like my wide receiver coach from high school, Milton Wynn, and then Coach Moorhead, Coach Sumlin, all those guys for recruiting me, getting me into college. And then Jimbo Fisher and his staff, Coach Damian Craig, which was a tremendous help learning Jimbo offense, because this right here doesn't even show half or not even 25% of the stuff that we had to learn being under his offense. You know, I like to call it Jimbo's Bible because it's about the same size. For real.
Well, you know, it's funny because off air, Quartney tells me, man, Jimbo Fisher's offense is very prestigious. A lot of people, you know, look to it. I mean, even some of these concepts that we broke down, Quartney, I see them every week, not at just the NFL level, but, you know, along the Bills level. So I appreciate you obviously joining us for this film breakdown, and good luck to you. Hopefully the Bills do draft you so that we can do this a little more often, man.
Definitely. No. And I want to give a shout out to my big forward King too, man, because, you know, he kind of took the initiative to push everything, you know, get this thing rolling. So, you know, I gotta give a shout out to him.
Absolutely, man. Again, thanks for joining me in Cover One, the film room. We'll talk again, Quartney. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.